Welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm your host, Nichole Eaton, and we're live today. I'm here with Christy Forsyth, one of my favorite humans ever to live.
And we love to just spend time together. So you guys will find us in videos together a lot. You'll find me on the podcast together a lot. We just have fun.
We have fun. And we wanted to go live more frequently to have these conversations so that you can chat along with us. So if you want to join a live show, make sure that you're following me, make sure that you're following Christy, because we're a little bit of everywhere. But today we're talking about the power of being magnetic. And I'm excited because I think that a lot of people don't understand how much magnetism is a choice and how these things about our personality aren't just things we are born with or without, but we can actually cultivate them and grow them to become that. And I think that's so cool.
Yeah, and it's so powerful. And I think that the way that the stars are aligned right now, the way that the energy is right now, it's really inviting us to be more magnetic, to focus more on that magnetism as opposed to trying to force anything or try to power our way through anything. So if we can be leaning into that magnetic aspect of ourselves, this is where our power is right now.
Yeah. It's funny. It's something that I've been focusing on over the last couple of, I would say this last year. For me, magnetism, really connected with feeling in my power. So I've been focusing a lot on cultivating just being more magnetic and in a more magnetic version of myself. And last night I went to the show and I was, just sitting there and I had a lady come up to me after the show and she was like, "You don't know me, but I was sitting across from you during the show." It was kind of set up like a runway style. And she was like, "I was sitting across from you from the show." And she's like, "I had a hard time focusing on the show. You're just so magnetic." She's like, "It was fun watching you have fun." She's like, "I hope I don't sound creepy, but I just wanted to tell you that you're the most magnetic person I've ever seen in real life." And I was like,
"Hey now."
I was like, that's what I was manifesting, but I've just never had somebody give me that kind of feedback. And mind you, I just very, very clear, I'm not walking around on my A game at all times. I was in a pissy PMSy mood yesterday morning. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to have a great night. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm trying a new restaurant. I'm very excited about that. And so I kind of switched into that mode before I went out. And I think of magnetism, I don't think it's necessarily about drawing in other people rather than radiating my own energy out, if that makes sense.
Right. And as you radiate it out, it does pull into your experience the things that you want. So it does act as a magnet. This has been something I've been focused on for the past few years. I was it kind of started in part because I was focused on my favorite tarot card, which is the Empress, and thinking about what her power is. And kind of through that process, I became aware that I was carrying a masculine shield, right? That I was using masculine energy in my life as a form of protection, and that it was preventing me from feeling natural in my own natural, feminine, flowy, magnetic energy. And so I started to explore all of that and see where can I make some shifts in that. And it's funny because I was watching a video and I talked about this yesterday, but I wish I could give this person credit, but I love to watch videos about feminine energy, magnetic energy, because to me, they're one and the same. And she was talking about how to be more in your feminine energy, you have to allow help. And it's funny because this is not something I do very well. Nicole's laughing because she knows. And so I decided last weekend I went away for a speaking event. And so on the flight, for the whole weekend, I said, you know what, I'm going to be more in my feminine. I'm going to be more in my magnetic energy. And this is going to be the focus for me. So I made that commitment to myself and got onto the airplane and was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if someone would help me with my suitcase? You know, how to put them up, right? And some of you guys know I've been dealing with a frozen shoulder for a little over a year now. And while I'm mostly healed from that, there's still a couple of glitches with that. And so the idea of putting that heavy suitcase above my head felt a little overwhelming, and I was concerned about it. And wouldn't you know, because I set that intention, while I was walking down the aisle, going to my seat, there was a man who stood up and he offered to help me with that. And so I was like, yes, absolutely. Thank you. And he started to put the bag up there. And as he was starting to put my bag up, my instinctual response to that was I reached up and I helped him put the bag up there. Like, I couldn't just let this man who was perfectly capable of putting the bag up there. Like, so it made me really clear, like, I have to get much better at this. And that my unconscious response to these things is to still try to step in and help, even when people are perfectly capable. And just recognizing that I'm actually denying people the gift and the blessing of helping me, supporting me by blocking that. So I'm seeing that as something that will help my magnetism moving forward. And I know that there are so many of you out there that are listening that could use some help with that too. So we want to be leaning into letting other people help us more often.
I'm just giggling at like envisioning you like helping this grown ass man like lift your suitcase, and it's like what carry on, like it's not like even it's like a 50-pound suitcase, and you're like, here, let me.
I mean, it was heavy, but yeah, like he looked at me like, "What are you doing?" And he even said, "I've got it."
I think there is, like, when we're talking about that, and in layman's terms, right? There's just this. It's the expectation, and I'm all for being independent girly. Like, I'm all for like, I can do anything. I hung a picture. I mean, it fell, but I did hang a picture the other day. But that independent energy is fantastic and amazing. It's just knowing when to allow yourself to be taken care of, allow yourself to be helped. And I think about that with the universe too, right? Is how do we allow ourselves to be helped, to be guided? And I think back on this video I watched a while back, and I wish I could remember where it was or who it was from, but it was talking about queen energy. The energy of the queen is that she doesn't squander her energy places that she doesn't need to. Like, the things are going to be taken care of for her on some level. And I remember just for a while, like, trying to plug into this queen energy. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just anticipate and expect that things get taken care of for me. And I remember just being very in the zone with this whole idea for a little while. And at the time, I had gone to Mexico, and we had rented this like yacht for the day, and it had a full crew. Like, it was a group of us, and we went in on it, and it had a full crew. It had, a bartender, it had a chef, it had like everything. And we stopped, we parked the boat, and we're out swimming with all the, sea creatures, and I'm floating on a paddleboard, and one of the bartenders says, "Hey, do you want a refill on your drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, I'll be back in a minute. I'm just out a ways floating on my paddleboard." And before I like finish my sentence, this man whips the drink, dives in the water, and is holding my drink above the water while he swims with one arm over my paddleboard to deliver me this drink. And I had this like clicking moment, like, oh my God, that's queen shit. Like, that's queen energy. That's magnetism. That's being in the energy of allowing yourself to take care of. I mean, I felt really guilty about that. So I'm working on, feeling guilty about being taken care of and about letting myself being taken care of. But the thing is, it's like the universe wants you to be taken care of. Like, it wants to help. It wants to take care of you. It just wants you to stop trying to control how that happens.
Absolutely. We're here to, especially if you're somebody who aligns with the feminine energy, to really lean into that and to allow that, and to allow not only the people that want to help us to come in, but to allow source, God, the universe, whatever you want to call that, to come in and help us and support us, because that's been a lesson that I've learned too. And I'm much better about that now. But in not trying to do everything ourselves in the things that we're working on, right? Like this is also about inviting your higher power into this and saying, help me with this. Or here's your to-do list. I'll focus on mine. Or asking for setting intentions and then watching for steps that we need to be taking, but also trusting that our higher power is going to be taking care of their part with that. So I think that that can be really powerful too.
Oh, absolutely. And we're talking about energy and we're talking about the universe. And one of the intentions that I set daily is that everything is always working out for me. And if you really break that down, what I'm saying is I expect the universe to take care of me. And so if we're breaking down past energy and we're just saying, well, what's your expectation that you have to bust your ass and do everything yourself? Or is the expectation that if you just lean back just a little, you don't have to go crazy. You might still want to put one arm up when, the universe is putting your suitcase away. But like, if we lean back just a little and we begin to shift our mindset even around the idea of like, do I expect to have to do everything myself? Or can I start to maybe open up to expect that I can be taken care of a little bit? And that's not exclusively magnetism, but I think the expectation that things get to work out, that we're not resisting and fighting and being in that heavier energy. I think that stress, that worry, that fear, that need to control takes away from our magnetism.
Absolutely. And I think like it's symbolic of me putting my arm up to the suitcase, right? It's like on some level, I didn't trust this person to take care of it for me, right? And we do that all the time with our sky daddy, where we do that all the time and we don't trust that it's going to be taken care of, that the intentions that we've set are going to be taken care of in the best way for the best path for us.
I need a t-shirt that just says trust in Sky Daddy.
I trust my Sky Daddy. New merch coming out soon.
Just on a normal level, like there's just so many things that we can do, like setting the intention to be more magnetic. Like that lady coming to me and saying, hey, you're so magnetic that I'm watching you instead of the show. Like that is the intentional energy that I've been putting around myself. Like I wake up, decide I'm magnetic. I make that choice mentally, and whatever happens, but it is influencing your energy. So sometimes the easiest thing you can do is just start to decide who you are in the world. Like I said, not everybody needs to be born with a trait. Like some people are just naturally magnetic. I also think of magnetism as authenticity. And when you're in the present moment so deeply, like I think if we had to narrow it down for two things, truly, like being present is like tenfold, like that's going to amplify your magnetism. Like being like, this is not magnetic. Like this is not magnetic. Nobody wants to approach you and bring things to you, and it's really hard to receive with your face in the phone, or if you're just kind of coming inward, like you're not, putting yourself out there. Like, so in authenticity, like people love when you're the real you. Like the people who are mega stars are odd little ducks. I tell my daughter this all the time because she's just somebody who has a little bit of a hard time fitting in. And I'm like, do not conform, because that energy of you owning all this like, uniqueness is going to pay off. And it may not pay off in high school right now, but it will pay off when you get into the real world and you're just so fully, unapologetically yourself, because authenticity is actually the most powerful frequency.
I mean, I think that people feel it when you're authentic and they connect with you, right? My favorite people, my inner circle, are all people. I love authenticity, but I love authenticity with people who like have these little quirks and these little things that entertain me, right? And so when you lean into your authenticity, you are going to find your people too, and the people who love and value those things about you, and that makes you more magnetic. I also think that there's a lot of value, like through intention, through authenticity, we can also prep our energy field so that when we are walking into a room, whether we're walking into a theater or we are walking into work or we're just walking into home, whatever that looks like for you, that we can get our energy prepped for that. Like one of the things that I really like to do is to do like affirmations and things like that. So repeating positive affirmations, things that I would like to believe about myself when I'm on my way to something that's important. And I'm really trying to think about like, how do I connect with the best versions of myself and think about I actually also imagine taking the light that's around me and making that bigger so that people can connect that and people can feel me and people can feel that I'm wanting to be present, that I'm wanting to be magnetic in that space. And so you can take your energy field and you can put that out there and focus on just like feeling as good as you possibly can before you walk into a room. And that's going to make you more magnetic.
Oh, I'm like big on that. And like I said, I woke up kind of pissy yesterday. Like I really did. I just like woke up kind of off. I was like in a weird energy. And it really came down to me sitting down and deciding like, okay, how do I want to feel the rest of the day? I got my little angsty fit out in the morning and we're all good. And now I'm going to decide how I want to feel the rest of the day. That's really all it takes. Like it's really, I think a lot of people feel like they can't slow momentum once it starts, like a wake up off, you're going to feel off the whole day. It's just not true. The minute we remember that we have the power to change course, it's like stop the momentum, reset, start new. And that's exactly what I did, right? I went in and I decided, and I absolutely do that too. When I go into big meetings, I want to be articulate, I'll be a good conversationalist. Like there's part of me that's shy. There's part of me that believes that I'm not good at small talk. There's all these different parts of me that still live within me that are like, oh, what do you have to bring to this conversation? So I usually go in and I'll hype myself the whole way into the building that I'm a magnetic, that I'm a good conversationalist, that really articulate with my words. I'm really intentional with my words. I'll set the intention to meet a ton of people, to be able to network a little bit more confidently. And you can go through and just be like, if I were to walk in this room as my best self, what would that look like? What would I need to believe about myself to be true for me to feel successful in that room? Walking in a room with your head held high, because body language matters, not looking around, not looking at your phone. Like there is something special about somebody who walks in and their eyes are wide open and they are confidently looking around and they don't need another person to, grasp onto. So body language can always change and shifted. Just that feeling of confidence. And again, you might have to hype yourself up. You might have to be your own hype girl. Like you might have to be really, really clear about how you want to enter this room. That makes a difference. The confidence makes a difference. If you're talking yourself the entire way entering the room, nobody's finding you magnetic because you don't find yourself magnetic, nor do you believe it's possible for yourself. So it's kind of like a cheat code to feeling really good in social settings. As somebody who I would say I have social anxiety necessarily, but I would say I get nervous walking into a room full of people. I don't get nervous walking on a big stage. I get nervous walking into small, intimate settings where I only know one or two people. Like that's my anxiety wheelhouse. Yeah, just giving yourself a really good pep talk. Everyone's gonna feel it.
I think too, like our subconscious or unconscious mind and the signal that that's putting out impacts the magnet that we're drawing into our experience. So if we think about the unconscious mind being 90% of the brain, and a lot of that are like these programs that we've had running through the mind year after year, these can be really hard to move yourself out of. So that's why I use like the affirmations and things like that. But I actually created some tools for that I just launched today. I created, it's called the Upgrade Your Life Hypnosis Package. It is a series of hypnosis recordings. So this is meant to address the subconscious mind through hypnosis, but also through NLP, neuro linguistic programming, which is really just a fancy way of saying I use words that speak more powerfully to the subconscious mind to create massive impact within changing the brain. We want the brain to think certain things so that we can create success, we can create the things that we want. So I put it into several different categories. There's 7 different recordings on there to help people in essentially every area of their life and their business. I also did energy sessions with that, because when we can address our energy field, that makes us more magnetic too. And it also has some manifestation techniques in there. And I incorporated music that's a certain frequency to support the changes that you want to make too. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to put the link down below so that you guys can check that out too, in case you're wanting to do some of that reprogramming of the subconscious mind in a way that's easier. Because I set them to be quick and easy. They're 12 minutes or less. So I'm excited about it.
And I can attest because I got to be like the taste tester of this experience. And so they're good. They're so good. You're going to want to scoop those up. And I'll make sure if you're listening to this on the podcast, they're in the show notes as well. So you can get that. But that's the cool part, is that we can do easy things to be more magnetic. And we're talking really about how you present yourself in the world, but it's also how you manifest. Like, people talk so much about like, oh, dream car, dream house, dream whatever, but like the reality is that you are at a certain frequency, you attract like things. When you get yourself to a great frequency, you attract like things. Like, we're talking about being magnetic, but we're also talking about being a magnet for the opportunities, for the right people, for jobs, for whatever it is you desire in your life, you being a magnet to that, drawing that into your experience because you're already operating on the same vibrational frequency. Like, taking really good care of yourself does that. Feeling really good about yourself does that. Feeling really authentic in yourself does that. And I think that's really powerful that we can do it in 10 minutes or less, right? I think that's cool.
Yeah. I think it doesn't have to be so hard, right? I think a lot of things in this world we overthink and we make them harder than they need to be. And we have these tools that are available to us, whether it's those or other things that you might do, like these little tweaks, just these little tiny little shifts that you can do that can make all of the difference in helping you to become more magnetic. And as you start to see that things are feeling better, doing better in your life, you start to feel better about yourself and you become that much more magnetic anyway. So it's like this ripple effect that builds and builds and builds.
Yeah. We're like, my mantra this year has been like, let it be easy and let it be fun. Like, I don't want you to look at being magnetic as something that's like outside of you. It's inside you. We just have to remember to turn the light switch on. Like, that's it. And what if we like think of it like that? If we just think of it, I was explaining to my oldest daughter, she's a little bit more like quiet and reserved and shy. And so I was like, I want you to think of it as like your energy so close to your body when you're being closed off and when you're not being yourself, that like people don't know what to make of it. They can't feel you. Like, they can't feel your energy, so they don't know who you are or what you represent. And so when you let people in and you're more yourself, your energy comes out from your body. And what if we just envision your energy getting bigger around you before you go into your shows? And like, what if we envision your energy getting, just letting that come out a little bit, and that way it's not so close to you so people can feel you. So, she's 16, but she does this, right? She did this for her audition. She was trying to make a specialty show choir, and she tried out one year. She did not make it. And she worked really, really hard, but she feels like, and she'll tell you that she only made it because she did energy work before she went in and made her aura really, really big. And, we can make, for lack of a better word, like, we can make people fall in love with us because we can be our full selves and we're magnetizing the right people. So there's power.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about connecting to your light and building that light in whatever way you feel called to build that light. I talk a lot about too with magnetism, your vibrational diet, right? Paying attention to like what makes you feel good and what does not make you feel good. Who and what do you walk away from feeling heavier? Because that's an indication to you that that's weighing down your energy field and that that's not helpful to you. And what do you walk away from going, oh my gosh, I just feel so incredible after I do that? Like I think about even just like, so a lot of times when I'm going to do a workout, I don't really want to do the workout. I'm not necessarily pumped when I go to do it, but I always do it because I know the way that I feel on the other side of that. And I know that my vibration is much higher on the other side of it. I've cleared a bunch of stuck energy. I feel like I'm buzzing and lighter and happier. And so I know that I'm magnetizing better things to me when I do that. So we can pay attention to those kind of things and make sure that we do more of them in our lives and less of the stuff that makes us feel like garbage.
Let me tell you how much I did not want to go to the gym this morning. And I was like sitting there and I was like, you know what? You're going to feel better if you just fucking go. And then I made an agreement because I've been doing more of like the stair stepper. I was like, you're just going to go and you're just going to walk. You're just going to put on an incline and you're just going to walk. You don't have to just so like making agreements with myself so that I could talk myself into going to the gym. And like, I go to the gym pretty much every day because it makes me feel better, not really for any other reason, just because it makes me feel better energetically. But it's so funny because it's like, sometimes you know the things that will make you feel better and it's like almost like you don't want to do them. And so I've been saying all week, and this has been a theme in my sessions, is that action is the medicine. And truly, like, this is one of those scenarios where if you know something's going to make you feel better, you have to just count down and do it. You just have to like push through, get up and go. Make it easier on yourself if you need to, talk yourself into it. But the willingness to do that changes everything. I actually made a Instagram post this morning about like feeling drained, and feeling drained comes from leaking your power, leaking your energy. And I compared it because I was really hungry when I wrote it. So I compared it to having like a package of M&Ms, and like you have a limited package of M&Ms, right? So if you start squandering these M&Ms in every direction, you're not going to actually have any for yourself. And so it's like, okay, give some to, to my kids, to my husband, to my job, to my whatever. If I'm pushing my energy out everywhere, or if I'm looking to the past a ton, I'm losing my energy. If I'm looking to the future a ton, I'm losing my energy. So we're talking about magnetism, we're talking about shoring up your energy and making sure it's yours, because from the inside out, it's more powerful than being grabbed and pulled at. And I was hungry this morning, so I was using M&Ms as an example. Yeah, because I mean, like, I was just thinking, like, if you only have a limited amount and you're giving away everywhere, you're not setting boundaries, you're looking too far outside of the present moment, like, or you're giving it to people who aren't giving back to you, like, that's another way that you lose your magnetism. Like, your magnetism is being so full of your energy and your energy amplified. When you're losing it in different directions, you're just feeling drained and tired, and everybody can feel that too. You're not taking care of yourself. Everybody can feel that too.
Yeah. And that ties perfectly into, we're filming this today on the full moon on the 15th. And that ties perfectly into what's happening here in this full moon, because we're taking a look at relationships with other people, but relationships with ourselves too. And it's highlighting the importance of how much that commitment that we make to ourselves and the relationship that we have with ourselves, how important that is, and how that needs to be the priority right now. And also taking a look at, okay, what relationships in my life do feel like they're taking my M&Ms, they're draining me, they're not providing for me what I'm looking for, what I need, what would bring more light into my experience, and we're making changes to that. And I also think that there's a lot of openings here in this energy because we're making changes to that, because we're willing to do that. for these really beautiful faded connections to be coming into our experience, like people who are going to bring M&Ms to us.
I hope you use this analogy at least for the rest of the week. That would bring me great joy.
It's like reciprocity with the M&Ms. We like this.
Yeah. Like we want M&Ms. Like we can't just have M&Ms and give it all away. Like that would be the point of having M&Ms in the first place, right? That's going to be the name of this podcast, by the way. Is just kidding. We've gone too far. We can't go back. No, I think that when we're carrying around heavy energy, when we're not taking care of ourselves and looking at that and being real, and the thing I'll say is that different phases of your life will allow different self-care. I just made a post the other day. My kids are getting older. I have one who works, who drives, who, takes herself places. I have one who's in a really committed travel softball. So she's at practice at least 3 to 4 times a week. And I've been finding myself with more time to be alone. But when they were 5 and under, I could it's so strange to me because I almost don't know what to do with my time. I made a post yesterday how it's almost like paralysis of possibility. Like I don't know what to do. But different times in different phases and different seasons of your life are going to give you more room to do that. When they were little, I had to wait until they went to bed and then I could get my workout in. I could have never done it in the morning. It would have been way too chaotic. They were up at the crack of dawn. I was exhausted because I was up at night with them. So if you're listening to this and you're in that season where you're caretaking somebody or just in a hard season, caretaking yourself and taking care of yourself and getting your magnetism back doesn't have to be hard and complicated in a 12-step process. It can be as simple as sitting in the car for 10 minutes and waiting before you unload the groceries just to have 10 minutes of peace and quiet to yourself. Like small things will help build that energy back up. Asking for help, if we're going to have a full circle moment, asking for help in that season of your life and being willing to receive it might be important. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't have fucking time, create time. Create time, even if it's 10 minutes. If you don't have 10 minutes in your day for yourself, you're doing this wrong.
Well, and also asking for and allowing help does allow for things to get easier and does help to support you in having more time. As I'm learning.
So I've read.
So I hear.
I have been hearing that. Yeah, I think that this is a great start for you. So if you're in the business of wanting to be more magnetic, I hope this was helpful. I will make sure you can get access to hypnosis, which will also help you be more magnetic. And you can join us live. We'll be doing this once or twice a month until further notice. So you need to join us live so that you can chat with us, ask questions, get advice. We're here for you. We're excited to share
now. Oh, sorry. The plan for right now is to do noon on Fridays. So look for us some Fridays at noonish Eastern time. We would love to have you live. We would love to have this be interactive and to respond to your questions, what you guys need. So find us.
And maybe Chrissy and I will buy fake bangs and wear fake bangs if we have enough viewers. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. We did try this once before. The color combo wasn't correct.
Let's set the number.
It's going to be how many live viewers would we need to do this? I mean, we were going to do it for no viewers. But let's just throw this out.
Do you guys want to see us wear fake bangs that do not match our hair color? We ordered them once.
Circle yes or no. I would say if we can get 100 live viewers, I will wear for sure fake bangs.
Yeah.
100 live. That's the goal. That's the intention.
We might even karaoke She Bangs while we wear the bangs.
At least do a dance. I mean,
if for 100 viewers, I would totally do it live at the same time. Yeah.
Live at the same time. That's the cue. I definitely.
And your lunch break with us, guys.
Yeah. What else are you doing on a Friday? Working? Come on.
Yeah. Stop it. Stop it. You're done. You already checked out today at 9 a.m.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. Make sure to leave a review, like, and subscribe. It always helps us keep this podcast going. But we'll catch you later.
Bye. We love you.